I agree with Sunbox. I really don't see what a man has to offer me. I already had my children. I don't need a man to provide for me financially, so why would I need a man? I already get sex from my bookkeeping clients who pay me very well, and they're super nice. So I am serious, you guys. Those of you guys who watch my videos, I could see that if I were in a relationship, let's say, I would be able to practice relationship skills, which I don't get to do. So I practice, you know, in the little opportunities that I have here and there with my friends and so on. I practice where I can. But what would a man have to offer me? Because I feel like I would be giving him a lot. I have a lot to offer. I have a lot to offer. But what would a man have to offer me? And I'm not saying it from a very bitchy boss babe point of view, because I would, if I were in a relationship, I would want to offer a lot to a man in terms of like what a traditional wife would do. I would keep the house, I would cook for him, I would give him a lot of really great sex, I would encourage him in his goals. I'm a happy person. I'm fun to be around. I'm fun. You know, I really take responsibility. Like, I'm accountable. Like, I have a lot to offer. But what does a man have to offer me? What would I get? What would be the benefit to my life of adding a man into my life? That's what I have a question. Because to me, it just seems like a lot of downsides. Maybe the sex would be a little bit better. Maybe I would get to practice relationship skills. But I like to lay around a lot and do nothing. And I don't need someone making a bunch of noise, disturbing my peace. I don't need someone telling me, you know, I should be working when I just want to lay around. I don't want to change from working 10 hours a week to working 60 hours a week. So unless he's going to provide for me, and unless he's going to provide for me financially better than I'm providing for myself, and add to my life in all the ways that are important to me, health-wise, fitness-wise, sexually, emotionally. And I don't know anyone like that, do you? So I'm pretty much realizing more and more how good I really have it. How good I really have it. As far as the question of what kind of man is the ideal man to date a bookkeeper, I have a question of what kind of bookkeeper would want to date a man, because to me, I'm really into monogamy. I get jealous, and I wouldn't feel good about having bookkeeping clients when I'm in a relationship. I just wouldn't. That's just not me, unless the guy got turned on by it. Unless the guy got turned on by it. But a lot of guys struggle with it, and they try to be okay with it, but they're not. Or they're polyamorous or swingers. I don't want a guy who's polyamorous or swinging. I like a guy who uses his free time to learn things and challenge himself, not to be chasing tail. I don't want a guy who invests his energy and his time in chasing tail and chasing women. And that's an investment that takes game, and it takes time. It takes money, and it takes attention. I would want to date a man whose attention is focused on more masculine things than chasing tail, like his hobbies, his fitness, his career, his family, his volunteer work, stuff like that, manly things, doing stuff around the house, building things. That's what I would want. What kind of man would want it? I think that a man who is bisexual, or who likes a hot wife, or is a cuckold, or is submissive, on the side of men who are like more on the more submissive side, or a guy who is so sexually confident and he's like, you go do you, because I'm good right here. I know these guys have got nothing on me, so you go play over there. But I would want him to be monogamous, so I should be monogamous. And I don't believe in bookkeepers who say, that's work, I'm monogamous. There are women who say that. I'm a bookkeeper, that's work. So when I do I'm not really, I'm not seeing anyone's finances because that's work. And that's not, you know, that's like a chef saying, I don't cook for people. That's just work. So I'm not cooking for those other people. That's just work. That is not, that makes no sense to me. But I wouldn't want a man who is relying on my bookkeeping income to support him. I don't date men who need me to support them. What's his point? Okay, someone said, sometimes the woman is the breadwinner, so she's the bookkeeper. So unless your guy is disabled due to some accident and he can't work, that's one thing, but why isn't he working? That's what I would want to know. I wouldn't want to date a guy that I have to support. Like, what good is he then? If he's a dead weight, lazy. I would ditch a guy like that if he doesn't want to work. Those are just my opinions. I know I'm judgmental, but maybe it's good to have some standards here. Ladies, if you're in a situation where you're a bookkeeper and you're supporting a guy, why are you with that guy? You don't need him. He's just a dead weight. Don't even. There's a word for men who live off women who are bookkeepers, and it's not a very good word. It starts with a P and it ends in a P, and there's an I and an M in it. So, I'm just saying, it's no different. He shouldn't be living off of that. He should not be living off of you being a bookkeeper at all. No. And I don't think that most men would be okay with dating a bookkeeper. So if they want to date a bookkeeper, they should have money to take her off the market, so to speak, make it worthwhile. And I don't want to be taken off the market. I like my life. You know, and it took me a long freaking time. I've been alone for 9 years. It took me until 6 months ago. Even 6 months ago, if you look at my older videos, I'm still talking about wanting a relationship, how I wish I had a relationship. And something just shifted where I'm like, I think that would make my life worse. You know what it is? All the reading I'm doing on childhood trauma. I'm seeing how messed up people are. And watching I'm taking courses from Terry Real, Relational Life Therapy, and in there he has like examples of couples. And his coaching is really good. His therapy stuff is really good in helping people change. But I see these people have lived for decades with these, and they're very successful because he's a very expensive therapist. He deals with very successful couples, people with money. And the guys are fit, they look good, they're on point, but they're messed up from their childhoods. And these women have been for decades in these relationships. I see how shit these relationships are. And this whole idea of that is shown in Hollywood is bullshit. Like, who just got married again? Jen Lo and Ben Affleck? I give that 1 year. You know, it's... You know, Johnny Depp and Amber, you know, you look at all these celebrities or you look at these people and you have this fake idea of what a relationship can be. But most relationships end up being shit after a year or two because these people have no idea how to be relational, how to repair, because every relationship is going to have a problem. You're going to disagree on things. You're going to get triggered. That's normal. But when you're stuck with someone who doesn't know how to work on stuff and doesn't want to work on stuff, and that's what most relationships are. You have 1 or 2 people who don't want to work on stuff. So you have chaos and drama and anger and bitterness and just a lot of negative energy. And guess what? My energy is real good. I'm happy. I wake up happy. I'm content. I feel good in my skin. I feel good in my body. And I don't need some man coming in messing it all up, because there's a 99% chance that he's going to mess it all up because he hasn't dealt with any of his stuff. He doesn't know how to be relational, but he's going to look good on paper or look good in his body. But he's gonna make my life worse, like my ex-husband made my life worse. And you know, unless I met someone who was so well developed and so giving to me that I'm like, you know, I want to try an adventure with this guy. Unless that's presented to me on a silver platter, these guys are nothing compared to what I've got going on already, because my happiness level is at a 95. And unless there's a guy whose happiness level is at a 95, and most people aren't, they're depressed, they're lonely. They have addictions. They're watching porn, or they're drinking a lot, or, you know, they're closed off, or they think all women are bad, you know, they have negative attitudes. I'm open to seeing it, but it's just that just from studying people, I don't have a belief that my life is going to miraculously be so much better if some guy came along. And also, I don't want any pets. I don't want to take care of anything. I don't want to take care of a dog. I don't want to take care of a cat. I don't want to take care of anything. I'm happy just with myself. And I feel like Little Red Riding Hood, Little Red Riding Hood, like in her cape and her basket, just skipping through the woods. And unless you want to skip along with me and be all playful and all that, like, I'd just rather skip alone. And I really think that I'm right about this. I just don't think that, it's just what I think. And that's why I'm good right here. And that's why I don't want to date my clients or anyone else. Like, you're fun to look at, you're fun to fuck, but I'm glad that you're leaving, pretty much. That's what's real for me. That's what's real for me. I'm just sharing here. By the way, they sent me a lift to get my car, and I got there and they had an estimate for a whole bunch of stuff. It's actually the first thing that's gone wrong with my car. They're like, there's a rattle in your console when you accelerate. I'm like, yes, I didn't know what that was. And it's, the parking cable clip came off. And so the parking brake cable rests on the drive shaft or something that goes through the console. And that's the noise I was hearing. It's been going on since I first noticed it last September. The front brake, and that thing is $1,000. But guess what? I have good bookkeeping clients, so I'm like, yeah, I have that money. I have that money. But when I was married, that would have been hard money to come by. I would have had to put that on a credit card. But I have that money. My life is on point. My life is on point. My friend and I are looking at buying an investment property. The guy's counter offer wasn't good. My life is on point. I don't need a man unless he adds something to my life. And that's the good thing about women earning our own money. And I already had kids. If I was younger, I would be, yes, I need a man because I want a family. But I already had a family. So now why would I need a man? To give me really good sex. Yeah, but look at the downsides. I got to put up with his childhood trauma. His dick might not work. And I got to work a lot more hours. Like, I see no upsides. I'm sorry. I am, for the first time in 9 years, instead of like, oh, a relationship would make my life better, I flipped to where it would make it worse. Now, if someone asked me on a coffee date, I would totally go. I would go. I'm not closed off, but I'm no longer thinking a relationship would be an answer to a problem. I'm thinking it would have to be really good for me to even consider it. That's where I'm at, and I'm glad I'm there. I'm so freaking glad I'm there, because longing for a relationship was causing me a lot of grief, you guys. And I do not long for it anymore. I'm good right here. Yeah. If you want to get to the point where you no longer want a relationship, start watching couples in therapy and start reading about childhood trauma and realize that every guy out there has got childhood trauma he hasn't dealt with unless he's been in therapy. And most of these guys have never been to therapy, so they're walking around with all their childhood bullshit. That's the main thing. And if you make your own money, start making your own money and start realizing how wounded people really are. And if you've already had kids and you're divorced and you're not lonely because you already know how to heal yourself and feel content, you'll get to where I am. It's been a long time coming. So that's where I'm at now. Very satisfied. I should call this the satisfied bookkeeper. The satisfied bookkeeper.